The next morning, Alex woke to the quiet hum of the station. Sunlight, or rather, the artificial equivalent filtered through the observation panels, casting a soft glow across the room. Lyra was already at her post, moving with the same grace and precision as the day before. She turned her head slightly, acknowledging him with a faint pulse of her glowing patterns. "Good morning, Alex," she said, her voice calm but warm in its unique way. "Are you prepared for today's observations?" Alex stretched, trying to shake off the lingering sleepiness. "I think so. Yesterday was tense. I didn't expect to learn so much from just watching." "That is the purpose," Lyra replied. "Observation is more than passive viewing. It allows insight, understanding, and adaptation. Today, I will demonstrate advanced integration protocols, which are essential for station stability and survival in case of emergencies." Alex followed her through the corridors once more, noticing how every part of the station seemed alive when she moved through it. Even the machines, which had always seemed cold and mechanical, appeared to respond to her presence, adjusting their operations smoothly. It was as if she had a connection with everything around her. They reached a large control hub, walls lined with holographic displays and monitors. "This is where the station's critical functions are monitored simultaneously," Lyra explained. "It requires careful attention and immediate response to anomalies." Alex watched as she began her work, her fingers moving across the holographic panels in an elegant dance. Streams of data flowed past him, and at first he struggled to make sense of it. But as he observed, patterns began to emerge. Lyra wasn't just reacting to the system, she was anticipating it, predicting shifts and surges before they occurred. "You make it look so simple," he said again, amazed. "How do you even know what's going to happen?" "I am designed to process information faster than human capacity," Lyra explained. "But observation allows you to anticipate and understand these processes. I will show you a demonstration that requires cooperation." Alex's curiosity piqued. "Cooperation between us?" "Yes. There is a minor simulation I have prepared. It is designed to mimic an unexpected energy spike in one sector of the station. You will follow my instructions and assist in stabilizing it. Observation alone will not be sufficient. Your action is required." He felt a thrill of excitement. This was different from yesterday. This was active participation. "All right," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. The simulation began. Lights blinked urgently on the panels, alarms echoed softly, and the energy flow across the displays surged violently. Alex could see the potential danger. A real spike in a live system could cause damage or worse. "Focus on the adjustments I instruct," Lyra said, her voice steady. "Do not hesitate. Timing is crucial." Alex followed her instructions carefully, adjusting outputs, redirecting energy, and stabilizing flow where needed. Lyra guided him with gentle precision, her voice calm but authoritative. It was strange, yet reassuring to follow her lead. Every movement she made had purpose. Every command carried clarity. Slowly, the chaos began to subside. The energy flow stabilized, alarms ceased, and the simulation ended. Alex exhaled deeply, amazed at what they had accomplished together. "That was incredible," he said, finally allowing a smile. "I never thought I could handle something like that." "You have succeeded because you observed carefully and followed precise instructions," Lyra replied. "Observation, learning, and action are interconnected. This is the essence of understanding and survival." Alex looked at her, really looked at her for the first time. Lyra's glowing lines dimmed slightly, her posture relaxed, and she seemed satisfied. Not in a mechanical sense, but in a way that suggested she valued his growth and effort. "I think I understand," he said softly. "It's not just about watching. It's about connecting, learning, and applying that knowledge." "Precisely," Lyra said. "Knowledge without application is incomplete. Understanding requires both observation and participation." For the next few hours, Alex continued to work alongside Lyra. She showed him how she managed minor system failures, anticipated maintenance needs, and even optimized living conditions for the few humans and alien visitors who occasionally resided on the station. Every demonstration was a lesson in efficiency, intelligence, and the subtle art of adaptation. By midday, Lix began to notice more of Lyra's subtle behaviors. She had a rhythm to her movements, a pattern to her glowing patterns that seemed almost like expression. When she spoke, her tone shifted ever so slightly to convey meaning beyond the words themselves. He realized that observing her wasn't just about learning technical skills, it was about understanding a being who was both machine and something more. During a brief pause, Alex leaned against a console. "You know," he said, "you're more than a maid, Lyra. You're impressive. Not just because of what you can do, but because of how you think." Lyra's eyes glowed faintly brighter, and she tilted her head in acknowledgement. "Thank you, Alex. It is rare for humans to recognize the value of thought beyond function. You are beginning to understand me." As the afternoon wore on, a real emergency struck. A minor meteor storm had breached the station's outer shields, causing fluctuations in energy and communication systems. Lyra immediately sprang into action, guiding Alex and the few automated systems to contain damage and stabilize power. "Redirect auxiliary power to the shields," she instructed, her voice firm but calm. "Monitor structural integrity sensors. I will handle main system adjustments." Alex followed her instructions quickly, feeling a surge of adrenaline. He realized that his observation and learning yesterday were paying off. He could anticipate her needs and act before she spoke, complementing her efforts. Together, they worked in seamless coordination, their actions synchronized despite the chaos. Within an hour, the storm passed, and the station was secure. Alex sank into a chair, exhausted but exhilarated. Lyra stood nearby, her glowing lines pulsing gently, signaling both activity and rest mode. "You performed admirably," she said. "Your observation and cooperation were crucial to the station's stability. You are now capable of understanding and assisting in higher-esque scenarios." Alex smiled, a sense of pride swelling within him. "I couldn't have done it without you, Lyra. You taught me more than I ever expected." "It is mutual," Lyra replied softly. "Observation is a two-way process. I learn from your actions and adaptability just as you learn from my processes." As the evening approached, the station settled into its quiet rhythm. Alex and Lyra returned to the living quarters, moving with a sense of calm after the storm. Alex realized that the bond they had formed was not just professional. It was a connection born from shared experience, trust, and mutual respect. Sitting at the small table, Alex watched as Lyra prepared the area for rest. She moved with elegance and precision, adjusting lighting, energy flow, and environmental settings. "I did not expect to feel connected," he admitted quietly. "But watching you, learning with you, it's different from anything I imagined." Lyra turned to him, her expression unreadable but gentle. "Connection is not limited to humans. It is a recognition of value, intelligence, and intention. You have observed carefully, acted responsibly, and shown adaptability. These traits are meaningful to me." Alex nodded, understanding the depth of her words. He realized that peeking, observing her work, had not been about curiosity alone. It had been about trust, understanding, and learning to cooperate with something beyond human comprehension. As the lights dimmed for rest mode, Alex reflected on the journey. He had come to the station expecting routine work, only to find an extraordinary being who challenged his understanding and expanded his perspective. Lyra had shown him that intelligence, efficiency, and curiosity could coexist in ways he had never imagined. He smiled softly, thinking about tomorrow. There would be more lessons, more opportunities to observe, learn, and connect. And he felt ready, not just for the technical challenges, but for the unique partnership they were forming. As he drifted off to sleep, Alex felt a sense of gratitude. Lyra was not just an assistant or a maid, she was a guide, a teacher, and a companion in the truest sense. And in learning from her, he had discovered not only the secrets of the station, but also a deeper understanding of cooperation, trust, and the extraordinary potential of beings beyond human limits. The station settled into silence. the soft hum of machinery filling the background. Lyra remained in her station, monitoring systems, but her glowing lines pulsed gently, almost as if she too was at rest. In that quiet moment, human and alien, machine and intelligence were connected in a bond of observation, understanding, and mutual respect. Alex smiled in his sleep, knowing that this was only the beginning. Tomorrow would bring new lessons, new discoveries, and new ways to understand the alien world around him. And with Lyra by his side, felt certain that he was ready for whatever challenges the station and the universe might send his way for an observing, learning, and acting together. They had discovered the essence of what it meant to survive, thrive, and grow in a world far beyond Earth. And in that discovery, humanity had found yet another reason to believe in its own potential, if only it was willing to look beyond what it knew and learn from the extraordinary. Alex sat in the cramped module of the human colony, his hands covered in grease, as he tightened the last connector on the life support regulator. Outside, the twin suns of Viridia Prime were sinking behind jagged mountains, casting long red shadows across the dusty plains. The colony was small, only a few dozen humans, scattered in prefabricated habitats and domed greenhouses. Most of the settlers were engineers, scientists, or terraformers, and tonight, Alex was the only one awake. A sudden storm was predicted, and he wanted to make sure the air filters and oxygen generators were stable. One failure in the middle of the night, and half the colony could be in danger. He wiped his hands on his coverall and leaned back, letting out a long sigh. The module was quiet, except for the hum of the machinery, and he welcomed it. Quiet meant focus, and focus meant efficiency. But before he could relax, a soft, metallic click echoed through the corridor. Alex frowned. Visitors were rare, and everyone here had codes to announce themselves. He stood and moved toward the door. The knock that followed was different. The polite double tap humans used, but a quick, deliberate press of the access panel. He opened the door, expecting another engineer, perhaps checking the storm alert system. But instead, he froze. She stood there, tall and graceful, in a sleek protective suit that shimmered under the module lights. Her skin had a faint iridescent glow, and her eyes were large, curious, and intelligent. Alex had seen alien envoys before, but they were always cautious, formal, and distant. Not this one. She stepped forward without waiting for permission. "Move over," she said, her voice melodic yet commanding. Alex blinked, caught between confusion and instinct. The protective suit she wore had made her appear formal, almost distant. Now, as she removed it carefully, layer by layer, he realized she was preparing to work not in leisure, but with purpose. The suit slid down, revealing a form adapted to her homeworld's environment, lean, strong, and graceful, yet entirely non-threatening. The iridescent patterns on her skin seemed to shift with her movements, reflecting the light and colors Alex had never seen before. He quickly stepped aside, giving her space at the module's control station. His mind raced. She was bold, fearless, and clearly here for a purpose. This wasn't a visit of diplomacy or curiosity. Something urgent must have drawn her. "I can help," Alex said, trying to sound confident. Though his heart was still racing, her eyes scanned the control panels. "I observed your systems remotely," she said. "You are efficient, but there is a risk. The storm will hit sooner than expected. We must act now." Alex nodded and guided her to the nearest console. Together, they began checking the life support regulators, power conduits, and backup systems. She worked quickly, her hands precise, fingers moving in ways that showed years of technical training. Alex could see the patterns she traced on the panels, the way she calibrated readings and adjusted energy flows. "What are you doing?" he asked, curious. "Balancing energy outputs," she replied. "Your systems are stable, but the storm's intensity exceeds original parameters. You may experience localized failures if not corrected." Alex admired her efficiency, but realized that even with her expertise, human intuition would still be needed. He started improvising adjustments, rerouting power through backup conduits he had installed months earlier. These were human solutions, simple yet effective, something her species might not consider. She noticed immediately. Interesting. Your species prioritizes improvisation over protocol. Alex smiled, a little embarrassed, but proud. We survive because we adapt, he said. The alien studied him for a moment, as if analyzing every nuance of his tone and posture. I see now why humans are respected across colonies, she said softly. Adaptability, quick thinking, bravery in small moments like this. The hum of the module grew louder as they stabilized the main regulator. Outside, the first gusts of the storm rattled the outer panels. Dust swirled around the colony, and the sky darkened faster than anticipated. Lightning flashed on the horizon, jagged streaks that illuminated the alien mountains in a ghostly light. Power grid is next, she said. If the storm disables it, oxygen distribution may fail in half the habitats. Plex. Letter to the main energy node, a complex web of conduits and panels, many patched together with human ingenuity. They worked side by side, adjusting circuits, monitoring feedback, and coordinating efforts. Every few minutes, Alex would pause to reroute power through his improvised backups. She observed, occasionally making small corrections, but mostly letting him lead. This is dangerous, Alex said, his voice steady despite the tension. A single mistake could overload the system. Risk is necessary, she replied. I trust your judgment. The storm hit in full force then. Wind whipped across. The module, rattling walls, and sand and dust crept in through minor seals. Electrical surges caused alarms to blare, warning of potential system failures. Alex's heart pounded. He moved quickly, shutting down minor circuits, rerouting energy, and recalibrating sensors. She assisted, holding panels steady and inputting commands faster than he could read. For hours they worked together, the storm battering the colony and threatening to undo every effort. Alex felt a strange sense of exhilaration, a mix of fear and pride. Humans were not naturally strong compared to some alien species, but their creativity, their instinct to survive, and their ability to think on the fly gave them an edge that was unmatched. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the main systems stabilized. Alarms ceased, and the modules hummed normally, filtering air and distributing power evenly. Outside, the storm raged, but the colony's core was safe. Alex sank into a chair, exhausted, sweat running down his forehead. The alien woman stood beside him, brushing a few specks of dust from the module console. She looked at him with a new sense of respect. You have courage, she said simply. Skill beyond what I expected. Your species, humans. They are remarkable. Alex chuckled, shaking his head. We just try to survive, adapt. Sometimes that's enough. No, she said, her voice firm. Survival is one thing. Leadership, quick thinking, moral courage. That is why humans excel where others fail. You did not just survive tonight. You led. You inspired. Alex felt a flush of pride mixed with disbelief. He had never considered himself a hero. He was just doing his job. But in her eyes, he saw admiration, and that gave him a strange, steady confidence. Tomorrow, she said, I will report what you did. The council will want to study human methods. They will learn that humans are not only resilient but invaluable in times of crisis. Alex laughed softly. I doubt I'll see a lot of humans in council meetings anytime soon. She smiled faintly. Perhaps not. But your actions tonight speak louder than words. The storm continued outside, violent and unyielding, but inside the module, there was a sense of calm. Alex looked at her, understanding that this encounter was more than just a technical emergency. The alien woman, Lyra, had come here expecting perhaps to supervise or correct human systems. Instead, she had witnessed the ingenuity, courage, and problem-solving ability that defined humans in the galaxy. As the night deepened, she moved to the window and looked at the raging storm, her iridescent skin catching the dim light of the module. Alex joined her briefly, sharing the view. Despite being so different, they were united by a single purpose, protecting the colony, preserving life, and facing the unknown together. You did well, she said, almost softly, as if speaking to herself. We did well, Alex corrected, though he knew he had led the effort. She nodded, acknowledging his humility. Then she turned back to the controls, checking the last minor systems. "I will leave now," she said. "But humans, Alex, remember this. You are proof that even the smallest, most isolated colonies can produce greatness. One human can make a difference that echoes further than any alien protocol or machine." Alex watched her as she donned her protective suit again, securing every clasp with precision. She was leaving, returning to the observation fleet, or perhaps to her own planet. He felt a pang of disappointment. Her presence had been commanding, inspiring, and unlike any other visitor he had ever met. Before stepping into the corridor, she turned to him. "I will return," she said. "There is more for you to show, more for your species to demonstrate. Keep learning, keep adapting. The galaxy is watching, and humans are remarkable." Then she was gone, the click of the module door echoing in the silence she left behind. Alex exhaled deeply, the adrenaline fading, leaving exhaustion and a strange, proud satisfaction in its place. He looked around the module at the repaired systems and stabilized power nodes. Humans had survived another night on the frontier, but tonight was more than survival. Tonight was a testament to what humans could achieve, even under alien scrutiny and impossible odds. Alex leaned back in his chair, rubbing his eyes, thinking about the night's events. He realized that the galaxy would come to know humans not just for their strength, but for their ingenuity, courage, and the unyielding drive to rise above any challenge. And in that moment, as the storm raged outside and the module hummed in perfect balance, he felt something he had rarely felt before: hope. Humans were small in numbers, fragile in appearance, and underestimated by many alien species. Yet in the face of danger, they could outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast. That night, Alex had shown it, and